Hello, hello. Come on, people. Let's get this stuff together. Let's get this stuff together. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and incidents in pop culture, just depending how those incidents affect our daily lives. Listen, you know why we are here today. Come in the room. hmm You know I can't sing, so I try to let you. So mostly you all have heard the news. You've heard the news. You've heard the news that Jonathan Majors was found guilty on two of the lesser charges. I am going through to find Danny's tweets so that I can read these charges. Here we go. Read these charges out so that you will know. If you are here, please hit that like button. That is your interest fee. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. I appreciate you all coming. This is sad. If the police and DA can rule, a rich black poor man has no chance. True. True. So true. All right. So I really don't plan on being here long. I just want it to be a spot that you all can lament or be excited, whatever it is. But as long as you're respectful in the chat and don't be calling anybody out their names or anything like that, this is a safe place. So the verdict came down at 2:25 p.m. For the assault in the third degree with intent to cause physical injury. He was found not guilty. For assault in the third degree, reckless causing physical injury, he was found guilty. For aggravated harassment in the second degree, he was found not guilty. And for harassment in the found guilty. So those were the four charges. The jury has spoken. He is to be sentenced, I believe, on February the 6th. Go back up in Danny's tweets and shout out to Danny. And if you go through her Facebook page, her Twitter page, go show her some love. If you want to be kind and contribute to any funds that she has, do that as well. Because this lady went to a courtroom for 2 weeks in a row, save one day, and has reported information out to the courtroom so that we can have the information. It says here he will be sentenced on February 6, 2024. So that was coming out of the courtroom. We also found from other publications that Marvel went ahead and parted ways with him. So they went ahead and let him go. He is no longer going to be Kang in the Marvel universe. So this is what we got so far. She reigns beauty. I don't like that he's going to be labeled as an abuser when video evidence shows that's not the case. And that's a real thing. That is a real thing. Even though, because when we talk about them and we talk about the actual charges, what he's been actually charged with, they will put domestic violence in front of his name forever, amen. And we're just going to it's just what that's going to be. So I did read somewhere where he was going to appeal. And so let me just where did I have it? Because I've been so discombobulated all day. So this is from People, Eric Anderson, Emily Parker, and Andrea Mandel. The actor played Kang. Okay. Jonathan Majors dropped by Marvel after split guilty verdict in assault trial. Jonathan Majors is no longer a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. People can confirm that Marvel Studios will cease working with the actor who played Kang the Conqueror in 2023 Ant-Man and the Wasp and was featured in the current season of Disney Plus series Loki. The 34-year-old was also set to star in various other upcoming Marvel Cinematic Universe titles, including a fifth Avengers movie. The move comes about an hour. So Disney waited till about an hour after the verdict uh, to part ways with him. In a split verdict, Majors was found guilty of two charges: misdemeanor assault in the third degree, recklessly causing physical injury, as well as harassment in the second degree, which is a violation. So he's really got one charge and a fine, because that harassment in the second degree, he's going to have to pay a fine. But the reckless charge, I think, can get him up to 6 months in jail. Because I think the intent was going to get him a year in jail. I think the reckless gets him 6 months in jail. The charges were in connection with an alleged fight between him and his former girlfriend, Jace Kabari, that spilled into the streets of Manhattan, Chinatown. So that's people's take on that. I was part of Dr. Hines was on this morning, and I was part of his live, and he was live when the verdict came down. Um, Oh, make sure you take care of yourself. It's weird that I cried when I found out because I felt so bad for him. That's not weird. It's not weird to have compassion for people, even for people who people tell you you ought not to have compassion for. There is no harm in that. Your emotions are your emotions. Your feelings are your feelings. You own them and validate them as you need to. Okay. Again, this is a safe space over here. So while we were on verdict watch earlier today, the jury did come back and ask for the car scene number one video again. They asked for Chloe's testimony about Grace asking for ice in the club, and they asked for something else too. I can't remember off the top of my head. And we kind of looked at that, and can't go to sleep because you've been tireless. I'm only going to be on here for 30 minutes, and like I said, if anybody wanted to join, they could. I'm not going to be on here too long because, like you, I've been discombobulated all day. My insomnia has kicked in, so I've been up probably 36 hours now. So I'm going to see if I can get me some sleep tonight. So you go ahead and get you some sleep, and we will convene or do something tomorrow, whatever, because I'm going to be moving into the Diddy lawsuit, and I'm going to be moving into whenever the ASAP Rocky uh thing comes out. I'm going to be moving into that. So, Kat, I'm gonna keep you in mind so we can do the deep dives into the research. I'm gonna be looking for you, honey. I'm gonna be looking for you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Get you some rest. So, we at that point, if you didn't watch, go watch Attorney Mark Nicholson's coverage of this case, because he said Friday that if they he was looking for them to have a verdict on Friday. He said that if they go into the weekend, the chances of him not coming out unscathed was going to be slim to none. So he called that perfectly. He called that perfectly. So what are you all thinking? Get out here in the comments and talk to me. Let me know that you're here. Let me know what you're talking about. Because like I said, it's been all over the news, it's been all over the blogs, that he is gone. That is a shame. It really is. You're talking about you've lost we're going to be real. Fooling around with the wrong woman, fooling around with the wrong man can cost you, and cost you deeply. It's cost him $15 million. And that's just professionally from Marvel. We don't know what it's costing in other projects. We knew he lost a lot of other projects. We don't know if he's going to be able to pick up any new projects. We also don't even know if because Disney bought the rights to the magazine Dream. We don't even know if that's going to come out or not. So I don't know. I was rooting for him. I was hoping that he would be not guilty, because everything seemed to be crazy, because basically what New York is telling you all that live in New York, that a woman can hit you, beat you, chase you down a road, and even if you do everything that you're supposed to do, you still can be convicted of a crime. So if you know that living in New York, you're going to have to tread lightly. And that's the same, it's the opposite way. Again, I am not sitting here making any detriments or saying anything, but we just gonna call it what it is. If you are a black person living in New York, you need to tread carefully. You need to tread carefully. One of the things that I would love to see come out of this, if we have any discourse, because the the uh, for those that grovel in that realm of the men versus women versus black men, and all this other stuff, and they grovel into all of that other stuff. I'm not talking to y'all. Okay, those that you all that grovel in there, you all are going to be, there's going to be some people that are going to be gleeful that he's been convicted. You're going to have some of them that are going to be like, well, I told you so, because this, that, and the third. Whatever it is, I want to look at this on a larger socio-political type situation. So when you talk about this jury, and I think you remember when we had that live a few lives back now, when I talked about the jury makeup, I said that if he wanted to win in this jury, he had to have at least 3 or 4 black men on the jury, and have a couple of black women on the jury. And if you were going to have white people, you were going to need older white men, and you were going to need younger white women. And we see how the jury makeup came out to be. Okay. So I knew that there was going to be, I think Danny called it about the 4 person. She thought that it was her and the comb over a guy, I think she said, that those were 2 were going to be she felt like that they were going to issue. And I told you all, I thought that they were, after talking with Mark Nicholson, when he talked about splitting the baby, where it was like he probably would get charged of the 2 lesser charges, particularly if they had deliberated for a long amount of time, and them not deliberating on Friday, because like I said, there was a jury that had an emergency, that we couldn't you couldn't account for that. But because they didn't go, because I thought that they were going to deliberate into the weekend, but they did not. They waited, and quiet as it's kept and loud as I'm about to say it, I bet you those jurists was watching all of the mainstream news and looked at everything that everybody was talking about, and that's probably where they got most of their information. Even though the judge asked them not to, there's no way in the world you're going to make me think that they're not going to go home and talk to their folks, their loved ones, watch a little bit of news because it was on the news. So it is something. Let me just look at your comments. It's crazy he went above and beyond to help her. That's not weird, Ty. Pam, I'll be okay. I read that already. 100%. I'm going to support him in any project that he's in. He's a good actor, and I believe he'll build him back up. I think so too. I personally, I just feel like he needs to take the time, um, to just and I don't want to use the word go away, but just to work on himself. I think take that time, go home with his family, figure out his next move, get his stuff together, figure out his next move, uh, and come back. Like I said, he's got this this sentencing to go to in February, and I'm sorry, I just think that the prosecution is going to want him to spend all that time in the jail. I just really do feel like that. They're on that kind of time. So I just feel like that's going to be something that we look at. Will he get jail time? I don't really think he will, but I know that prosecution is going to push for it. I'm hoping I'm hoping he gets a suspended sentence, probation, and if he's smart, he will get the hell out of Dodge up there in New York. Because one of the things that I am seeing quite clearly, and this is my opinion, this is Pam Entertainment TV's opinion, black folks living in democratic run cities, towns, and states, I am finding that you all are not getting the promises that party promised you. Now, I'm not telling people to run to the Republican Party. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, it seems like it's much harder for you all in these Democratic run states where you're supposed to be able to, there is supposed to be a level of, um, help me find the words, y'all. I can't find the words. I can't find the words right now. Let's continue through the comments. That's just me and being social. Uh, B, BC apparently within New York law is allowed when you're being assaulted. Someone must have asked you something. They should have attributed her finger to her attack on him and her ear to whatever happened post clubbing, as there was no sign of injury or blood. Not sure closing was as tight as it could have been. And that was, like I said, I'm quite sure. Martin Nicholson talked about when lawyers, when a case is finished, they do like a post mortem, and I'm quite sure that she's probably thinking about that. They're probably thinking about that because I think Tina, she dreads me, had made a point about, and we had all said if you keep it to that day and just act and go with the facts and not roll with her with the feelings, because I think when you start when she started rolling with Grace with those feelings and trying to get her all discombobulated, I think she lost some points. I do. I think if it was just to be facts, to stick with the facts, and these are the facts, there's no way that we know when she hurt her finger, because there was video evidence to show her in several different areas where her finger wasn't hurt, or she didn't have any injuries to her finger. She didn't have any injuries to her head, even though she claims that she had injuries. The only time we knew she had an injury is during the body cam footage. So that's visual evidence to show us that she did not have those injuries. Now, remember, they asked for Chloe's testimony. So I think Chloe's testimony of she complained about her finger hurt and she asked for ice. I think that they were thinking at that point the injury was caused in one of those car sequences. And but I don't understand, in those car sequences, she was the one who was the aggressor at all times. So the driver has said it. She has said it. So it's interesting to hear that. But I do agree. We don't really know where she got that injury from. And like I said, she could have gotten it from ripping and swinging and popping and doing all kinds of stuff. But the jury has spoken. I was told by my senior chief that if a woman starts hitting you and that you're not to touch her and you need to run away. That was when I was 18. Okay. Hey Pam and Kat, I'm off tomorrow. So I'm gonna be up all night trying to baby, I'm just gonna tell you, ain't no figuring out. What's that little meme with the lady sitting around with all that mathematical stuff swirling around her? There isn't. I think that once the jury was the jury bought into whatever biases that they had. They believed what Grace said. The prosecution scored a point by allowing Grace to talk with her feelings instead of talking with the facts. They allowed them to bring in evidence from a past incident with no context, where half of her stuff was redacted for whatever reason. Um, and like I said, so I think trying to figure out what needs to be done on a social political level is where we're gonna, because that's the place where you're gonna be able to fight some stuff like this. Because, like I said, you're a black man, black woman living in the city of New York. Y'all better go to New Jersey and spend y'all dollars. Go to Connecticut and spend y'all dollars. Hmm. I'd say best case scenario now would be Marvel recast this character and make Yahya Abdul Mateen play Kang, but it still sucks. I love seeing Jonathan play the character. They could do that, or they could just put that character on ice for a couple of years and bring him back later. I don't know. Um, I don't know. Marvel has, like I said, Marvel has allowed other people redemption stories to happen through them. I don't know if that's going to be something with him. Would they allow a redemption story? And Marvel has another incident I think that we're not talking about, is because both of these people, Marvel is probably waiting to see whether or not that they're going to get Jabari. If Jabari's going to come and sue them because she's going to try to make a claim that he was preying on her at while at the job, child. I don't know. And maybe they're waiting for another shoe to drop in that level too. Because, she may come after people civilly. We just don't ever know at this point. I wonder how much he has to lose because society lets him move forward with his life. Well, listen, you look at the ramifications that's going to happen for him. First, like I said, his income level is about to has come to a halt right now. So I don't know if he's making any money or he's making any auxiliary money on the outside. Number two, look at his personal life. This man has a daughter, and he has a who has a mother who is Caucasian. Is she going to allow him to see her daughter, thinking that he's going to be rough with their daughter? I mean, there's a lot of personal implications with this as well. He didn't get a fair trial with a fair jury, and I'm gonna pause this right here. And the reason why I'm pausing this, and this is where I'm talking to you all as Black folk, y'all are gonna have to stop poofing these jury summons if you get them. All right. If you are a Black person and you are not registered to vote, you don't get to sit on a jury. I'm not telling you either way. I'd love for you to vote in elections to do what you need to do, particularly in your city and your state elections, because that's where it's really, really important, because that's where the policies and stuff like that are really, really made. But at the least, when you turn 18 years old or you have an 18 years old, y'all need to be pop locking up there to the court or the registrar's office and register to vote. You can register online. You can do any of those things. Because when you talk about a fair trial and when you talk about having a trial of a jury of your peers, it is so important that people who look like you, that may or may not have makeup and instances like you do, right? Because you had a whole juror say probably one person that doesn't even understand what it means for someone to call the police or to call 911 as a Black person. Because we've seen it time and time again that people have called 911 because they have relatives with mental health issues, and you're thinking that 911 is going to help you with the situation, they end up gunning down your loved one. Well, how has that changed? That's changed again. That changes on local and state government policies. It doesn't change up high at the federal government. Everything that happens as far as with the federal government when it comes to changes and laws happens down in the state and the local area. And and I'm just speaking real. We can sit here and say, "Oh, I don't like politics. I don't like to do it." But honey, you not liking politics, you are missing out on the stuff that people are doing. Look at them folks down there in Florida. Let them folks roughshod. Now they can't even teach civil rights history in school because that's woke, according to them. Let's see. Let's not comment. I missed some comments, y'all. Hold on. I don't want to miss nobody. Here we go. The jury asked about her. Exactly. Exactly. And I think them asking that question, I think they were back there because I think they couldn't figure out when and where her or where she talked about pain, because you remember it was about pain. And you remember how she said she didn't feel anything, but Chloe mentioned that she asked for ice. So she had said something about pain in her hand somewhere during that incident. I think it happened when he pulled away from her when she started to run. Well, that's a pulling motion. She would have felt that here. I think she hit something. Now, what she hit, I don't know. I mean, because we had that second car incident, she was wailing and flailing and doing all kinds of stuff there. I think she hit something hard, whether she hit the door, whether she hit something hard because the joints was up here. And like I said, if you were twisting like this, and I hate to show that I twist my finger, you twist your finger, you would see it would be in this joint and the bruising would go all around here. So she hit something. When and where she hit, I do not know. But she hit something. I knew back in 2021 when I seen him with her, she would be his downfall. You talking about that picture that they took at the Toronto Film Festival? Yeah. Uh, do you think the weekend influenced their decision in terms of rethinking things? I think so. I think I let me tell it. Pam at Pam Entertainment TV, you let me tell it. They were all on the news and the blog. They were on the news and the blogs. And like I said, the power of the mainstream media, they had a narrative. And so I believe they was on there, they were trying to see what was going on. They probably learned of some stuff. They probably read the Rolling Stones article. They probably read a whole bunch of stuff. I think again, uh money could have been well spent with a hiring a good PR team. He didn't have to hire a big major one, but he definitely could have hired a PR team that could have flowed a lot more positive information about him. I would have loved to see more positive information with him about his family, positive information with him and his child, positive information about him. The only thing that came out about him is that it was with him and Megan Good. And I think, and like I said, his family has a right for privacy. I'm not saying that they had to pull out there, but I do think that there should have been different types of photos of him outside of just with him being with Megan Good. Was Megan Good a good look for him? It possibly is, but I think that we should have seen a more well-rounded Jonathan Majors. And I also would have loved for if he had any friends, whoever his friends on, like I said, a lot of people, but him being with his friends, him being with the, being with the peer group, him being with something, giving the image of an all around guy. But I do think that this weekend that they were looking at some stuff. Wish they had looked at our stuff, but okay. Yaya is an Aquaman. He is, and I think he's supposed to play Wonder Man. My Marvel DC people put it down because isn't he supposed to be in Marvel playing Wonder Man or something like that? The TV series is supposed to be a TV series. I don't know what they're going to do, but people have been talking about that they were talking about moving away from Kang and going in with Doctor Doom. I don't know how true that is. But I just don't know. Marvel has you can I can probably be quite assured that Marvel has been moving towards this having a plan A and a plan B, and this was their plan A. Uh Plan B was to continue to get some stuff because I don't know if you all follow the Marvel and stuff like that, but all the people that were set to write the Kang Dynasty and stuff like that, the writers and stuff like that were fired. The writer that wrote the series Loki is now on tap for that. So, and like I said, when we watched the end of Loki, we really didn't even know where Victor Timely went. So I think that they had decided to move away from him uh really truly once the charges, but again, they wanted to wait and see. Wait and see. Wonder what happens between him and Megan since she's all about her own status in the industry. Will she think that it will hurt her being with him? Hmm. Because she don't seem to be phased being with him before the guilty verdict. So I don't know if she's gonna be phased after the guilty verdict. And quiet as it's kept and loud as I'm about to say it. I mean, she's not an A-list star and act in Hollywood. She's probably C plus B minus at best. She spends a lot of time in like on BET and what's the other one? I know she has something out here on Amazon. So I don't see it hurting her career. But then again, that has to do, and I'm quiet as it's kept, loud as about to say it. That has to do with black women, because some black women, they're staunched about no, I'm not going to support that or support her because she supports him. And if they watch the stuff, they watch the stuff because most of the stuff that she's in is geared for Black women between the ages of 25 and 55. So we'll see how that, if that will. And like I said, that depends on Black women and whether or not that they're going to sit and watch her stuff. I'm done with Marvel. Hmm, okay. But they did what they, I don't know. I mean, I would give them props because they waited until they had a verdict. Now, whether we agree with the verdict or not, honey, that's, me and you, we here. We don't agree with the verdict. But I do appreciate that they did not make a decision until the verdict was read. Everybody else jumped ship in April. By April, everybody had jumped ship. So I commend them for waiting, understanding that someone is innocent until proven guilty. So I don't know. I will tell you, be real clear. I don't know if I'm gonna stop watching Marvel or not, or watching Disney or not, because I'm a Star Wars girl and I love Star Wars, and I don't know if I'm, right now, am I ready to do that? But I will say, uh, you know, got to show some support and some solidarity somewhere. But I hear you. I really do. I hear you. Eyewitness was the driver, but I guess the jury didn't believe him. The prosecution told them not to believe him. He was their witness, and they told them he couldn't be reliable. You remember that in her closing argument? And you remember that Danny told us that the jury with the comb over and the foreman was eating up ADA Galloway. So, and then then again, let me tell it, the biases that came in with that, with him not speaking English and everything like that. So, that's what I'm saying, Pam. You can be called for jury duty and not be registered. My daughter was called when she was 18 and hadn't registered to vote yet. Where did they get her name from? I'm very curious about that. Where did they get her name from? You need to be curious about where they got her name from. Tell them the facts. 100% register to vote. Answer your jury summons. Correct. And I'm glad for her that she got called to jury duty. You should have encouraged her to go. But I am curious about where they got her name from. Or did she register and she didn't know she registered? Because a lot of times when you, particularly, was she a college student? Did she turn 18 in high school? Because there are a lot of voter registrations and things like that. So uh, check to see, because even filling out, if you're in college, I don't know if they still do it now. I don't know if the vendors come around for the major credit cards and things like that. But anyway, because everybody wants to give you a credit card. But in that area or in that whole situation, they'll have people to register you to vote. Also, if you go to health fairs, if you go to job fairs, they have people there that will register you to vote. If she went to the health department for any health department health services, they have people there that will register you to vote. So I would say she may have registered to vote and may or may not have realized that she had registered to vote. So good on her. But yeah, she's probably registered to vote if she's got some kind of services, if she's, like I said, if she's gone to job fairs, if she's gone to health fairs. Like I said, if she turned 18 in high school, she probably could have registered in those places, because that's where they do and go to register to vote, beside going downtown to the thing. If you apply to go to the military, they have instances where you can register to vote. If you go to the driver's license place, they register you to vote. So I would be curious to she probably registered to vote and may or may not understood that she was registering to vote, because that has happened. CRT on the spot. She was falling over the club and the walls, DJ booths, and I wish that just sticking with the facts instead of the emotions. Because if you'd have stuck with the facts, we would have been able to talk about her clumsiness. She's hitting the DJ booth. She's hitting the wall outside. Did she fall while she was waiting for the cab to take her home? See, we don't. I mean, they didn't get that footage. They got all that other footage, but they didn't get that footage. What happened? Did the cameras hit then? We don't know. But you realize that she did, and to be a movement coach, she was kind of clumsy. But we're not. I mean, I don't want to be spending too much time on that. But yeah, I think so too. Because the one thing that I cannot figure out, juxtapose or anything, where your clothes went? Why you didn't have the bottom part of your clothes? Now you let Danny say it. She thought something else was about to happen. Easy access and all. But I'm just curious because, like I said, if we'd have stuck to the timeline, my question would have been, did you hear him knocking at the door? And how were you passed out when you had just finished texting someone not even 10, 15 minutes before the ambulance people came? Yeah. He needs RDJ's PR team. I doubt it. He is going to need he is going to need some. Yes, I do. You see them? I just got them tightened, retwisted, child. Let me see. I can pull one out for you because they little itty bitty. But I've had them 2 years. They started right here and now they're right here. I sure do. Thanks for noticing. I was natural for 10 years and got tired, y'all, because I have thick, 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 thick hair. I mean, because my hair is so thick, even doing this, putting this in ponytail was difficult. It was difficult, child. Difficult. Yes, he's like, yeah. Yaya is supposed to be Wonder Man, so he's gonna be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's gonna be one man. I think they're doing a TV show with that. They could, they could, and they could do that. And here's the thing, because people are like, well, we got Jonathan Majors looking like Kang. Okay, I'm old enough to remember watching soap operas, and when they changed characters, all they said was, Victor Kiriakis is now going to be played by da 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 da, and it just kept it moving. I don't know why it's such a difficult thing in the Marvel universe to be able to say this person is now playing this role and continue on. They can do that. It's I mean, because we know why he is no longer at that role. But they can do that. I mean, be at best bounce. Mm. And speaking of text, because they were so big and heavy to bring these texts up from September 20th, 2022. I have to ask Danny, why didn't they bring those texts up from that night where she texted him and called him 32 times with the voice messages and everything? How come they didn't bring those in? I am real curious to know what was going on in them texts. I'm real curious to know what was going on in those texts. Because, like I said, the text that was important to me is nobody will know but you. There's no note. Nobody will know but you. I definitely would have wanted them to bring those text messages in. Those were the text messages that we needed to see, versus the text messages in September 2022. But again, Priya brought that in by dealing with Grace's emotions instead of dealing with the facts, being very deadpan and dealing with the facts. I don't care who plays what. I'll never support Disney's. They have nerve to act like they have some moral high ground with the lawsuit. What lawsuit, Dallas? Dallas, tell us the tea. Tell us the tea. What lawsuit they got? I don't know. So yeah, I mean, I'm not that deep. I'm a casual watcher. I don't really follow. I follow, but I don't. Like I said, I'm more of a Star Wars girl, and I will follow some of the I was watching like the Infinity Saga because Black Panther was in it. But tell me about this lawsuit. I wish someone like Jordan Peele would come out and say something to support Jonathan Majors. I think it could help his career. And that's what saddens me. What really saddens me, and let me tell you who saddens me. What saddens me is the fact that there are so many people in Black Hollywood that during the strike, uh, when all of this coming during the strike, all of that, they could have come and they could have rallied around him. I think that they could have. Like I said, I understand people have their own things and stuff like that. But I really would have loved to seen the black men in Hollywood would have rallied around him. It would have been nice just to see somebody sitting down and they having, conversations or something like that. I really would have loved to seen that. It saddens me to know that Michael B. Jordan sat around here and talked about how he's my best buddy, he's a good friend. He had him speak at his Hollywood star ceremony and all that other stuff, and then you don't see him say, "Boo, kiss my foot." The only person that said anything, and that's all you needed to say is, "Hey, we're just going to wait for the court's decision. People are innocent until they're proven guilty." That's the end of it. But it saddened me to see that because it's like mm, that's made me sad. A lot of y'all are done with Marvel. My my my. Look at the way they're treating the projects with black lead actors. I mean, what did see? I don't want Dre and Chill to get on to me. But what did y'all think? They really didn't even want to do Black Panther. And quiet as it's kept and loud as I'm about to say it, when Chadwick Boseman died, you saw how lackadaisical they were about, yeah, y'all make the decision of whether to keep him or kill him. They didn't say, hey, we've got like 3 or 4 movies we can settle do this. We need to maybe recast him or something. You let these I'm gonna say it, you let these funeral loving folk decide that people are gonna pay 20 something dollars to see a funeral. You saw two. You saw T'Challa and you saw his mama's funeral. Killed them clean right on off the show. And everybody hollering about Shuri this and Shuri this and Shuri that. Letitia Wright is a good actress, but she's not a lead actress at this moment. There was no way in the world that she should have been pushed into that kind of spotlight. She wasn't going to be able to do it. We had a whole pandemic. In that pandemic, you could have found a year or two after, because it took you 2 years afterwards. So you had 2 years to write a script, hire a new actor, and keep it moving. But we needed time to grieve Chadwick. Chadwick is a real life person, and don't let me sound like I'm being insensitive. But you mean to tell me the only time that you was gonna grieve this man is when it was gonna be on screen? Now y'all pitiful for that. And I said it, y'all pitiful for that. The co-stars, the only time you grieved for this man was gonna be on screen. Y'all didn't go to no memorial. Y'all didn't have a memorial. Y'all gonna get the auntie coming out of me in a minute. I'm not giving Marvel any credit at the end of the day. Yes, ma'am. They do not do this to their white talent, and I refuse to spend my disposable income with people that don't respect me. And I am not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. I'm not. I am not. But please make sure that you all are supporting the black actors where they are at this moment. Because besides the bad sides, special effects, them Tubi movies, they be funny. She got it at the DMV. Okay, okay. She turned 18 in high school, but I took her to register because you used to be able to register a few months before your 18th birthday, as long as they're 18 by the election. She wasn't, but she's registered now. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. But I'm glad she's registered. But yes, is a whole lot of places that people can get registered, and sometimes people don't realize that they are registered. Just like you said in another video, the jury was going to split the baby. I knew that they were going to split the baby. When you looked at the makeup of the jury, you knew already at that point that they were going to split the baby. It was just, I had assumed that what they were going to do, that they were just going to charge him with the violation. I honestly didn't think that they saw reckless. But again, my mutual Tina said, I don't know. They may have been looking at the fact that, they were going back and forth and pushing each other back and forth, she trying to get out the car, he trying to push her in the car. They were going to look at that. And as loose as those charges are, I mean, one of those charges says that if you annoy somebody, they could put you in jail. So yeah. They were going to split the baby. I was hoping for not guilty all the way, but like I said, my heart said that, but my head said when Danny told us about the makeup of the jury that they were going to split. That was going to be their great compromise. I think he needs another lawyer and he needs to appeal this case. If she's not an appellate lawyer, he probably will get another lawyer. If Priya if her firm doesn't have any appellate experience, they probably will appeal this case. I think that they have some because particularly with the judges and the judge and his ruling, because number one, there was no reason in the world why the body cam didn't play sound. Now I remember one of the court reporters that was there talked about that there was no reason that body camera the sound should have been playing. And the reason that I think that the prosecution made a deal with the NYPD because the NYPD knew that some of their officers there that night had made some statements that they knew that bordered on being illegal or were illegal, but the prosecution knew that they needed that body cam footage, and they probably came to a compromise, and they ran that by the judge. We'll show the body cam footage, but we won't say what's being said. And that's when he made that little compromise. Well, if the jury asks for closed caption, then we'll give it. It should have been there in the first place. If you weren't going to play the sound, you should have at least put the closed caption on there. I think that's a to me that's an issue. I think some of sustaining and stuff like that, because they're not going to go back over the evidence and they're not going to go back over the jury thing. But if he could show that there are some things where there was some biases or anything like that, I think he has a good appeal. But again, y'all, that depends on how much disposable money he has at this point. Because let's be real, he's probably spent over 200 and he probably spent 175 $200,000 on Priya alone. And not to mention going back and forth. I'm not I wouldn't live in that penthouse again, but quite sure that he couldn't break that lease, or if he sold it or if he was buying it or whatever. So financially he may just be at a point where he's got to figure out how he's going to make it, because like I said, that $15 million was because it was supposed to be 20, and I think he got some of his money up front from Ant-Man and Loki, but he was supposed to be in there for at least another 5-6 years. So all that money was supposed to come there. So you're looking at the fact that he may not have the disposable funds right now, but we'll see. I wonder if she will get hired again now that he's been found guilty, even though they have footage of her hitting and chasing. Let me tell you something. In big productions like Marvel and all those different things, to me, I wouldn't hire her. And the reason why I wouldn't hire her, she's a liability. You know, I don't know what charm she put on Jonathan Majors, but she did. And plus the fact, if I was Marvel, I wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole, because there's no way in the world you don't think that her lawyer mama and her lawyer daddy and her lawyer sister is cooking up some way to sue Marvel or to sue things, saying that they put her in danger with this man because they were supposed to know that he was dangerous, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. In the club video when she was at the DJ, did she slip him her digits or am I tripping? She gave him a piece of paper. I don't know what was on the paper, but she did give him a piece of paper. I don't know if she asked him to play some music or what, but she gave him a piece of paper. But you're not tripping. We don't know what was on there. Again, if we were able to stick with the facts that was going on, that would have been a question that made, since the prosecution had her on there for 2.5 days, I'd have had her on there 2.5 days going each step by step. So she'd answered all those questions. She had on his oversized hoodie and bottoms on. I thought she thought he was going to find her and they were going to make up. She didn't have no bottoms because if you look in the foot, because they read uh what's her name, Megan Cuniff, she had released all the things. When you look in there, the pants that she wore that night and her drawers was sitting inside the pants. So she didn't have no bottoms on. She didn't have nothing on down the bottom. She just had that big over sweatshirt. Her underwear and her pants was over right there in the corner, right sitting next to her. She didn't have no drawers on. None. Nada. But this is what Danny was talking about. She thought he was going to come and see her there, and because I think their relationship was toxic. They went back and forth with this mess. Baby, please don't do this. I love you. We, this, that, and the third. But him going to that hotel put a whole nother spin on it. Jonathan's lawyer was terrible. I think she sabotaged him on purpose. I don't think she sabotaged him on purpose, but I do think she didn't take her Adderall that day. I think she was just a little bit too hype. I think it was too theatrical to mention the ex-boyfriend who pruned himself. I think that was a bit much. Like I said, I think she just was a little overzealous because she had a case. She had a good case. She didn't have to feed into the theatrics of Grace. But if she had just stuck with the thing, and I wish her and her co-counsel would have tag team, he would have been better to me to cross-examine Grace. That's a good suggestion. He that's a good suggestion because that's an easy transition. That's an easy transition. That's a good suggestion. I just think he'd just be a little bit shorter than Chadwick, I think. But that's a good suggestion. They did it with War Machine. Yeah. Terrence Howard was there one day. Next thing you know, had a light skinned friend that looked like my War Machine. Had a dark skinned friend that looked like War Machine. They done it before, child. Yeah, he's pretty handsome. She spoke ill of him to her family in those messages, if not mistaken. Mm, mm. But you know what I don't understand, and y'all have to let me know again, because I think a lot of this would be my bias and how I was raised. But hands, feet, knees, and toes, I can't. If you're to say, and I'm just speaking like this, if you're to believe everything that she said, and I do not, but let's say that you believed everything she said, there was an opportunity where a whole continent was between you, a whole continent. Why did you come? Why did you invite her to come? If you knew that you were going to be TOX, I see. They are selfish cops not supporting Mr. Majors. You know, and it is self-serving, but we see you. We see you. And I think one of the things it could be is that you can call them out on it. Michael B. Jordan, how was you supporting your friend during his time of need? Where did you get your sister last day? They look nice. I want to get sister like by March 2024. I'm looking for. Is there IG for salon you went to? I will put her. I have Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I will put her information in my Twitter on my Twitter page, so you'll know. Now she's in Birmingham, Alabama. That I live in Alabama, so she's in Birmingham. But the person that does her locks lives in Atlanta. So I will ask her. You just if you message me on Twitter, I'll definitely get her to get the information because they have to go to a sister locks are trademark. So she would know people in your area, or she can get you in touch with or give you a list of people in your area to be able to get them done. But come on, Joe. Come on. Now, we'll tell you they are expensive. And if you want something similar, you won't have the grid pattern, but they're still just as pretty and you can get them as small. If you can find somebody to do micro locks, it's the same thing. It's just that you can use a different grid pattern. Yeah, he was the only one that spoke, and it was just a basic statement. He's innocent until proven guilty. And that's all people needed to say. We're going to let the court, we're going to let it take its course. We're going to let the courts decide what they're going to do. But he's innocent until proven guilty, and we wish him the best. Bam. You see how quick that was? Exactly. People went to see Shuri hook up with the dude that killed her mom. Oh, I'm sorry. John, I thought you was spilling some real life tea. You talking about Namor, yeah. Oh goodness. Child. Exactly. Exactly. Uh, you know, e- exactly. There's no reason in the world why Black Panther is not prominent coming into this Kang Dynasty or whatever Secret Wars one, whatever they're going to call it, going forward. There's no reason in the world why he shouldn't be this prominent. Support magical Black people. Are y'all gonna go see that? I just feel some kind of way about that whole movie that magical Black folks' existence to make white people happy. I've got a problem with that. You had so much. I hope that that's not if that's the premise. I know I'm not going to see it. They had an opportunity to make a whole big magical world. I, um, I don't think I'm gonna go see that. I honestly don't think I'm gonna go see that. He needs to fight those bogus charges. He probably will. They said something. Who said something racist? What y'all are talking in the comments? Boycott Marvel. Okay. I don't care about recast. I won't be watching and listening. Ask Grace why she felt that way. He could have still been found guilty, but the PR hits was nuclear. I agree. I've had a really, really rough year, and Jonathan Majors came with something that gave me joy. I feel for him because I've had the same situation happen to me. I lost a friend over false rumors. Wow. Wow. And see, you never know. And that's why I was saying at the beginning when someone felt like they were upset and they were crying. Those are your emotions. Those are your feelings. A lot of people enjoyed him in Ant-Man. Now the writing in Ant-Man sucked, and Modoc looked a mess, but his acting in Ant-Man to me was stellar. Now him with what's her name? What was Janet Van Dyne? What's her that's the character. But what's the lady's real name? I thought that the scenes between those two, that was some good back and forth acting in Ant-Man. And I thought maybe they could have actually played that first, then saw her out in the world or anything like that. But I thought that was good. I thought his acting was good. Like I said, the writing had a lot to be desired, but I do think his acting was there. And you know what pisses me off about that is the fact that they want to act like he was the downfall of the movie, but it's Paul Rudd and Angelina Lilly. That's their show. When it Ant-Man, what was it? Ant-Man Quantumania? Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania? That was their show. So how was the villain the downfall of the show? Co-counsel was better. He had, Priya was very charged, and like I said, I think she didn't have her Adderall, and he was very, he was very calm and very methodical and calm. And I think that him talking with Grace, I think that he would have been able to get her to answer stuff because of her calm demeanor. I think she was waiting for Priya to yang at her. I think she was waiting for that. Should have got Johnny Depp's lawyers. Someone said that Johnny Depp's lawyers that helped him in that civil case were not criminal lawyers. So maybe if his firm, that firm, had some criminal lawyers, and I don't know, because you remember Johnny Depp was in wasn't he in one of the Carolinas? He was in one of the Carolinas when he had that lawsuit. They weren't up in New York, if I remember correctly. He was in one of those states. They are. The rumors are more powerful than the truth. I mean, you can spread a rumor and that rumor will catch fire. And by the time the truth comes in, people are more apt to believe the lie than they are to believe the truth. All right, y'all. Let me see. I'm gonna get through your comments. It's the she didn't have no drug. She did not have a stitch of them. She sure didn't. And you, like I said, you know, there was something calculated. Like I said, I think both of them were toxic for each other, and I think both of them do have some emotional and mental health issues that they can deal with. I think that that's fine, but there was some manipulation going on because I'm still trying to figure out why they didn't bring up the fact that he has a right to protect his property himself. Again, that should have been, if we'd have kept with the premise of each fact. Grace told us she snatched a phone. Grace told us that he went to retrieve his phone. Now, what force she used, I don't, she's claiming, but the driver said that she was Adam. He saw her doing most of the hitting. He heard it, and then when he looked, he heard it most. She was doing all the stuff. He was trying to get away. He asked to stop the car because you remember when it stopped, the back part did all like this. They were still in there rumbling and tussling or doing whatever. He comes out. So, like I said, y'all gonna be in there fussing and tussling, swinging, ladies, thinking you getting the best, and now these guys are just gonna let you roll and tumble out here in this street, and them cars gonna pop you. Y'all better stop this mess. Wait now. Don't ask why he wasn't with a black woman. We don't deserve that suspect behavior. Let's be real, and let's not be obtuse. Because it doesn't matter if you date a black woman, if you date a white woman, Hispanic woman, or whatever. If someone is a violent person, it doesn't matter who they're. Black women are not going to automatically stop a man's violence. Don't give that kind of rhetoric any kind of life. That's not going to happen. If someone is violent, it doesn't matter who they are, who they date, or anything. Okay, I just don't believe that. I don't believe that because he's dating a black woman now, whether we believe it or not, he's dating a black woman now. And I do know people will say, well, he's the only dating the black woman because the white woman put him through hell. That may be true and that may not be true, but let's not act like or put this false notion that because I am a black woman that I can stop a man from causing me harm because that's not the truth. There's too many of us that are harmed, hurt, or in the ground from that. So I don't want to spread that kind of rhetoric. That's where the defense went wrong. Yeah, not being methodical. I think that's so true. Wasn't he trying to help her get her work visa? Yes. And I don't know if it had been mentioned because, like I said, here I am now. I'm going to be talking about some of the rumors and stuff like that. The fact was, let's see, this was March 25th when all this popped off. She started living here with him the 1st of March. and he was supposed to be helping her get her visa and everything. So in 25 days, it all went it went. How many minutes have I been on here? It went to shit. MB Jordan has his own legal problems in LA coming. Non-driving tail. Why in the world? How do you think that? I sure hope he bought them folks a new car. I sure hope he bought them a brand new car and it wasn't a Kia. Yeah, Namor came out and it was the interesting thing. He came out and said that this wasn't going to happen and da 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 da, and those charges went away so quick it made your head spin. The lady that brought them charges, I don't know where she went, and she didn't even bring any charges. It was accusations, and she went away so quick it made your head spin. Marvel never disrespects their white actors like this. War Machine, now Kang. The more I think about it, the more I'm steadfast in my machine. And it's the truth. I mean, because you can look at this. I think Dre did a great video either earlier today or yesterday talking about that. You know, because he was surprised about what happened with Jeremy Renner. When was this? 2019, when he was out here slinging guns, shooting guns up in the ceiling, saying that he was going to prune himself in front of his daughter and his wife, just out here really wilding. Police was called, all of this stuff. And you know, we got a whole Christmas special of Hawkeye. Ezra Miller and Jerry Renner both had legal issues and didn't get fired. JR sent crazy Texas X and Ezra guilty and didn't get fired. That's facts. Facts. But Ezra is with DC. But you're right exactly about Jerry Renner. I mean, it was a whole thing, and really what happened, and I think where sentiment changed for him is what last year or a couple of years ago when he got ran over by the snowplow or something like that. People started, treating and talking to him differently. They started talking about him as a hero. But it is interesting how he can go from a villain to a hero in less than a year and a half, and that's not what happens. And the problem with Terrence Howard, it wasn't his acting. It was just the fact that he was asking for more money. They paid him a certain thing. He was going to he was supposed to be in a few more movies, and he wanted more money, and they refused to pay him. So they got rid of him, and they put Don Cheadle in his place. So that makes me question how much money did Don Cheadle make? Marvel fired him. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Michelle, thank you. Michelle Pfeiffer. Those scenes between him and Michelle Pfeiffer, they were great. They were great. Yeah, loved him in the heart of their foe. Yeah, because that's a Jay Z. That was a Jay Z promotion, and he's supposed to be. Is he still working with Spike? Because I was surprised that Spike didn't say anything, or any of those cats that were over there. Johnny Depp's trial was in Virginia. I was going to say I knew it wasn't in like New York or L.A. or anything like that. He went to a different state. Yeah. All right, y'all. Let me go down here to see. You think Megan sent those texts? I don't know why I just don't think it was Megan. So here's who I think it was, and like I said, this is just me, but I'm not gonna call her name. All I'm gonna say is there was an award show, like an award ceremony that he went to back. I think it was like in February or January, February, and he was there. I think Michael B. Jordan and the guy that played in what's his name? I don't remember his name, but he played in the Eternals. He was the black guy in the Eternals. David Aiello, and there was another one, and I think I said Michael B. Jordan. But there was a little photo shoot that he did there. And I think, now this is just me, I have no proof of nothing. It's allegedly, allegedly, allegedly. I think the young lady that he was there with, I think that may have been the person uh, that was Cleopatra. Listen, I'm only leading y'all to the water. Y'all drink it yourself. But that you let me see. There's a picture of him. He's in. He was in some pants that made you reminded you of Santa Claus. That's as far as I'm gonna go. Hmm. That's who I think Cleopatra was. That's all. That's who I think it was. Now you just let me tell it. All right, people. We've been on here an hour and 11 minutes, and I have, like I said, I have enjoyed lamenting with you all. Those of you all that are gonna uh boycott Marvel, do what you need to do. Do what you need to do. No, they came out this year, May 2023. Listen, let me tell you something. Jurors have that kind of. They have that kind of ladder. No, that okay. Since this is, and then like I said, make sure you tell a friend, you tell a kin, you tell the heifer that I can't stand that I'm over here making these videos, and all I'm gonna say is, besides boy boy, since you need a name, I'm not gonna give you a name, but she played in The Woman King. Boy boy.